gathered here today. The way this so-called museum came about was a completely dishonest way of doing things. This was built as a museum dedicated to women's history. That was the case as far as anybody knew until it was unveiled the other day, when it was unveiled as a Jack the Ripper museum. That's an absolutely grotesque thing to do. It's an absolutely insulting thing to do. And what I want to say first of all is this is not a joke. This is not something that is confined to the past. The abuse of women is happening today. This is not something that people should be making light of, or selling mugs about, or selling t-shirts about. That is completely grotesque. We are meeting here at a time when our museums are massively under attack, and this gets set up, and when women's lives are under attack, when the services that we use are under attack, meaning that women are increasingly trapped in relationships that are abusive, are finding it harder to escape violence precisely because of the cuts, precisely because of austerity, and what's that doing to women's lives. So the kind of stories that we tell, the kind of things that we commemorate, actually have an impact. This is people's lives that we're talking about here. And there's something else I want to say here as well, which is that the stories we tell about the past, what we remember, has an effect on the way that we feel in the present. Now, I think it's it's grotesque, it's insulting, and it's not representative of women's struggles to have set up this so-called museum over here. It's particularly ironic this has been set up in East London. East London that, of course, has seen some of the most vibrant and inspiring women's struggles of all time. From the Match Women's Strike, which saw the birth of modern trade unionism, women who were largely from immigrant backgrounds, who were told that they could never win better conditions for themselves, marched out of work, and changed the face of labour history, inspiring strikes all across this borough, where working people who'd never been organised in trade unions before got organised and won for themselves better pay and conditions and decent treatment. That was won by immigrant young women, often teenagers, in this borough. This is also the same borough that saw the birth of the working class London suffragette movement, led by women like Sylvia Pankhurst and the East London suffragettes. These were women who, the stories that were told about them, these were women who, again, were completely written off and yet managed to create a dynamic and inspiring movement that galvanised the whole of this borough, men and women together, to fight for political rights as well. East London has been the site, of course, of the Dagenham Equal Pay strike in 1968, where women demanded the right to be treated equally and paid equally with male workers. And since then, time and again, we've seen women in this borough, whether that be in the anti-war movement, whether that be the young women school students, many of them wearing hijabs, who marched out of their schools and demanded an end to the Iraq War in 2003, whether that be the women who are protesting over the cuts to housing, who are occupying those buildings and inspiring people today. This has always been a borough where women and poor people have been written off and told we can't make our own history, that we can't change things for ourselves, and time again, East London, and particularly women in East London, have proved them wrong every single time. We make our own history. And we are here today to bring the spirit of those inspiring people from the past, that real genuine history, down to this protest today, to say we will not stand for that, and we will be demanding a proper women's museum. We will be demanding that history be recognised and inspire us in our struggles and our campaigns today. Thank you very much.